Ooh, we got, of course, Gryphons and More, small mini Gryphon here. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying, XFox, why did you get that? You sell Gryphons yourself. Well, we do, but you know what? Sometimes we see something, I'm like, you know what? That thing's pretty legit. So go ahead and check him out. Again, it's Gryphons and More on Etsy. He got a lot of different types of Gryphons, stuff that I'm like, man, that thing just looks sweet. So I might pick up another one or two from him. And I'll tell you this, his customer service is pretty top notch. A lot of you guys know when you deal with me, you know, I wanna make sure you guys are happy on my Etsy store. I wanna make sure you guys are getting the cool stuff. If something happens, try to work it out, right? And you know, this thing is no short of that. He is a great individual, and I'll definitely be picking up more blasters from him here coming up. But look at this thing. This is your classic Gryphon, but with a few key changes here. Now here's the thing. This thing was aggressively priced. I think it rocks. Uses your standard Talon mags that I've always used on these things. It's roughly shooting about 140-ish FPS, 150 FPS, somewhere right in there. And it's a single trigger pull, right? I don't have the rev trigger down here. Now, some of them do have the rev trigger, which he does offer, and some of them also have a solenoid. This one is all mechanical. Even though the solenoid version was, I think, about $20 or $25 more, which I was like, man, maybe I should pick up one of those for my next war. And I think I probably am here coming up after this video. So take a look at this thing up close. I think it looks great. It is very compact. I mean, it's sleek. He's done a few modifications to this, to some of the stuff on the Gryphons that kind of drive me crazy. And it just looks overall good. Now, the battery option, since the battery is no longer in the stock or in the front, it is now gonna be down here in the handle, which is awesome. Now, you are limited on some of the battery types that you can use. For me, I went ahead and used some of the same batteries that I used for the Nightingale. Pretty much fits right in. I actually think you have a little bit more room in this comparison to the Nightingale, but nonetheless, it worked perfectly fine with all those different options. Again, you guys can check those all out on other videos that I have. But man, this particular blaster, you know, does address some of the things that I was always like, man, when it comes to the Gryphon, I'm like, oh, I wish they would fix it. One of them is gonna be that long kind of wire tray there. Any of you guys who have built a Gryphon know that wiring your stuff through the, you know, through the inner top shell there is kind of hard, because if it moves, it sometimes interferes with the pusher mechanism. So doing that and putting the wires all the way along the outside, I think is an awesome idea. But also then putting that battery inside the grip and making this a single trigger pull. Now, the only thing that I've ever ran into this thing that kind of drove me nuts is that first shot. You gotta let it rev up. Then you can shoot successive shots after. You really don't get a lot of FPS drop, which you guys will see here in the shooting video coming up here in a second. But look at that thing. Overall, I think it looks great. This does have the 130 motors with the smaller wheel, flywheels on here, which are awesome. So the front is not as big as a normal Gryphon that you would see. And really, again, it is compact, is almost as all you can be. Now, I opted for the little hook back here, but again, he does have versions that you can have the end strike attachment back here, so you can stick some type of, you know, stock that you like. I just like this thing just being sleek, right? Being able to point and shoot and go. That's kind of my style right now, and look at that. Now, the only thing I can compare with this with, you know, kind of size-wise is gonna be the Nightingale, right? Because it's a single, you know, pistol type blaster. So check this out. I mean, they're kind of close, not really. The handle on this thing is like completely different. The weight of this thing is completely different, but I get it, right? That Nightingale is kind of an anomaly, especially with the new Nightingale that's coming out with the full auto. I mean, those things are about 90 bucks, which I'm like, man, and they work really, really good. The accuracy on this though is really, really good. You guys will see here after the shooting video. But yeah, overall, I think this blaster rocks. I love the new look of it. Let's just go out and take a look at the shooting video. So here we go. So there you go. You can see, I mean, we ripped about 8 or 9 mags through it. Really, really good. The accuracy is great. I've put probably about 20 to 30 mags through this originally, and then went ahead and swapped my battery to make sure I'm getting the best FPS and put another 30 or 40 mags through it. And this thing still shoots really, really well, super accurate. And that's one of my things is, you know, our wars are capped at 150, and I wanna make sure I have a blaster that shoots right around that 140 to 150 mark and shoots consistent. I don't want that wildness, which sometimes that full auto nightingale kind of gets me, where it's just kind of just a little bit too wild, where the groupings with this are a little bit better. But I don't know, guys, you know, every time I see a cool product, a cool 3D printed product that's kind of a tweak on an older version of something we've seen before, I like it. I just had to pick it up and support my fellow Etsy members out there. And again, his customer service for me when I had some issues was top notch nonetheless. So, hey, Gryphons and More, I'm giving you a shout out, right? I'm giving you a shout out. You guys rock out there. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of this thing. We'll probably do a little more shooting tests, and hopefully when the local wars come up, I'll get out and do a little shooting with this. But maybe, I don't know. Am I gonna choose this over my Nova? It's a tough choice right now, but let me know what you guys think. Leave it down in the comments. Thanks again, Fox fans. Whew.